Democratic governors last night at the White House, met and pledged their full support for President Biden. But there's still rumblings that maybe, just maybe, that support ain't unanimous. And here comes Van Jones. Van Jones. Now, it is rare that Van Jones these days says something that is helpful to us. And by us, I mean people who love freedom and justice and hate Trump and hate oppression and hate occupation. But today, Van Jones came with a truth bomb, and we got to shout out our brother Van Jones, and he's still my brother. I still love Van Jones, even though he's been tripping lately. Van Jones came forward and said and did something very, very important. He made it very clear on CNN that despite the public face of the Democratic Party in support of Biden and in complete confidence about their chances in November, he said behind the scenes, Democrats are in full-fledged panic mode. He said the Biden administration is passing around legal memos, they're texting, they're WhatsApping, they're doing all the stuff to figure out what to do about the crisis that is the Biden campaign. At the end of the day, the point for me is that Van Jones, who is a Democratic Party insider for sure, he was a former Obama advisor. He was the green jobs czar. He has been a CNN pundit and a senior level pundit for over a decade. And because of all of that, it's very clear that Van Jones knows what he's talking about here. Van Jones understands that they're putting forward a public face of confidence until they figure out a plan B. And there is a desperate need for a plan B. And it's not just pundits like me. It's not just political analysts and strategists who are saying this. It's members of Congress. Right now, there are members of Congress who I have spoken to who are very anxious. Right now, you got people like James Carville, another powerful Democratic honcho, who is saying, you know, maybe we should be thinking about the relationship between campaign funding for members of Congress, not just Biden, and people's support for this continued candidacy. This is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with not quite a civil war, but a deep tension in the Democratic Party about what to do next. In the next couple of weeks, there has to be a come to Jesus moment with the Democrats. They're going to have a very clear plan and then execute that plan for moving forward without Joseph Robinette Biden. Now, some of them may say, you know what, screw that. Screw that. We're going to go forward with Biden. Well, if you go forward with Biden, you do so at your own peril. You know, I want to bring up Van Jones's comment because he said something very particular that I want y'all to hear. Listen to this.
Look, I just going to be honest. I mean, everybody comes on the air and says all this great stuff, but behind the scenes, it's full-scale panic. People are passing around legal memos, PDFs are flying back and forth on WhatsApp, trying to figure out what are the options, how can you replace Biden, how do you get him to do it in a way where he feels respected as he should be respected, who should Kamala Harris's vice president be? The conversation on air and the conversation off air are completely different. And so it's the same thing you saw with the Trump situation, where people would come on air and defend Trump, and then you talk to people and then we got a crazy candidate. We don't have a crazy candidate.
Right. We don't have a crazy candidate, but we definitely got a candidate who inspires different public conversations than private conversations.
And a mature party has to take that into account, and that is what's happening. And so, look, I understand people want to, defend him and protect him and give him their space and the dignity to make his own choice. But there is a big conversation happening right now about how this happens, not whether.
How this happens, not whether. There's a couple important things here. One, Van Jones gives y'all some inside baseball that y'all think I'll be making up. When we tell you that Democrat press briefings and Democrat sound bites and Republican stuff is the same, isn't necessarily what's happening behind the scenes. You think people are hating her, that they have tinfoil hats on, or that they're making up conspiracies. It's not that. It's that Democrats say A until it's time to go to B. They say 1 until it's time to go to 2. They will absolutely say that they support Biden up until the very second where they say we don't support Biden. And then in 2 years, they'll say we never supported Biden. This is how it goes. So please don't believe anything you hear at a White House press briefing as the gospel truth. It could be true, but it very well could not be. And the second thing is that he said people are talking about how and not whether. In other words, it's not do you get rid of Biden, it's when do you get rid of Biden. It's not whether you get rid of Biden, it's how you get rid of Biden. And letting Biden step away with dignity is fine. The only way to do that right now, I think, is to go to the illness card. You can't say, well, he's too old to run, because then they're going to say, well, why'd you let him run in the beginning? But what they can do is lean on an illness. Don't be surprised if a sudden illness pops up. If he gets, like in sports, you get that knee injury, that plantar fasciitis, he going to get something that's going to make it easy for him to step aside. Or actually, I don't know if there's any other way out of that, actually. I think he's going to have to say medical issues have pushed him out, or, his family has asked him to sit down. There has to be something, because what you don't want to do is sit down for a reason that was foreseeable a month ago or 3 months ago or 6 months ago. Because if you do that, you put Biden in the position, and you put the Democratic Party in a position where they look like they showed bad judgment and that they weren't responsible or trustworthy, which does nothing to help the fact that Trump is running on a campaign of Democrats are liars. And frankly, Democrats are liars, and Republicans are liars. They're all liars. If you scratch underneath the surface of any politician, you'll find lies. So it's an easy, kind of banner to carry. All that said, Biden needs to make a move now. And as Van Jones's comments show, Democrats recognize that, and they're moving on it. We'll keep you posted on what they end up doing. But in the meantime, you need to keep the pressure on. You all need to tell your members of Congress not to support these campaigns. You need to tell all the Democratic power brokers that they should not stand behind Biden, because when they do that, they make it harder for Democrats to make a move that is in everybody's best interest. And that move is doing everything you can to keep Donald J. Trump out of the White House.